Good morning, folks, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, whatever the case may be. Today I am working on Country Charm. It's my big rooster, partial rooster with some flowers. Yeah, all the canvases that I'm currently working on, except for one, are rounds and have flowers. And of course the one that's not around or has flowers is the same one, and that is my grotesque Cookie Monster. So today is February the 4th, and for today's WIP and chat, I'm going to read today's horoscope, how I normally start the WIP and chat. So February 4th, you are very frank and scrupulously honest in your business relations and your love. You are shrewd, have a strong personality, and command respect from all with whom you come in contact. You are fond of children and will have a happy home life. So any of you that have a birthday today, February 4th, happy birthday. And so next, I did do a little bit of work on my pink tree. I'm getting closer and closer to getting it finished. I've got some blue here that I gotta do, and then this whole section here will be done, and then I can actually move it over, and it'll be the last, probably the last. No, I've gotta do the blue up here as well, and I should, I'll get this section done as well, because I'm just looking and I got some yellow down here that I gotta get done. So yeah, almost done, just got a little bit left to do. Yay. So I did end up moving some stuff around on my desk, on my workstation. Everything that I had behind along the back is gone. So I've got a curtain there that I've been knitting, and there's my Eeyore Humphrey. My Humphrey that my mom made me long time ago. But yeah, everything that I had along here, I have actually moved it all over to here, so it's within easier reach. And up here I've got, this is for the pink tree, this is for this is the butterfly and rainbow cat, that is the cartoon cat. And then for my rainbow kitten, the box is in here, it's right there, and there's the coasters and my laptop, and yeah, so all my stuff is like right here. And then my the canvas, the kits are here. And then I got down here, this is, which one is this? This is black and white, so this is the horse here. And I got some other stuff down here. Yeah, there's some damage to the flooring right there. It was like that when I got the place, honest. So yeah, this actually frees up the table for my work area. Makes it easier for me to work on larger canvases. All right, so yeah, so my space heater decided to stop spewing out a lot of heat, and then all of a sudden my furnace decided to kick in. Well, it started to warm up, and when it first starts to warm up, it makes loud squealing noises. Okay, coffee, just 1 second. So yeah, my furnace, because I went to use my little hand vacuum to clean up the dust around the base of the space heater. I went and I grabbed my little hand vacuum, and well, it needs a charge, so I wasn't able to use it. So I cleaned the underside as best I could with just using, like, just pulling what I could from it. And yeah, so I've got the hand vacuum charging right now, and so periodically the furnace kicks in. Unfortunately, that does mean that it is using propane. Yeah, I now have I have this table mate over here to my right. So the canvases that I'm working on, I've got them on my couch over there. And then this table mate I'm using, this is all for Grotesque Cookie Monster, which you can see over there. That's that one. And then that one right there is Flower Basket that I was working on yesterday. Yeah. So yeah, my place, I need a few furniture items in order to get some more organizing done in my place, which will happen eventually. I want to take everything out from the underside of my couch and get rid of the couch, because I'm not a big fan of that couch. It's not really that, the cushioning, the padding is like, yeah, it's like a 2 to 3 inch thick cushion on top of a board, and I don't have enough cushioning. I don't have enough padding in my tushy for my bad tailbone. So I very rarely sit on my couch, which is why I'm using it for holding my WIPs. And I was so glad when I rolled my dice and it gave me a different number. Yeah, well, 2 days in a row it gave me my Grotesque Cookie Monster, which is number 5. And then yesterday it gave me number 6, which was the Flower Basket. And today is my Rooster. So I'm waiting for my dad to call. He said he had to take my bonus mom in for eye surgery. Yeah, apparently she's getting her cataracts done now that my dad is fully 100% healed from his cataract surgery last year. Now it's her turn. But he's supposed to be calling me when they get back, so then he's gonna come and pick me up and take me back to their place so that I can do laundry, and so I can also talk to her about borrowing her car overnight Thursday night, because I have an appointment with the sleep clinic. And my dad's like, well, why don't you just go to the sleep clinic in the town next door? I'm like, there is no sleep clinic in the town next door. The place that I went to in the town next door is not an actual sleep clinic. They just have those devices to test your sleep, monitor your sleep or whatever. Yeah, they provide the devices, like the CPAP or BiPAP machines, and maintain them, I'm guessing. But yeah, they don't have, they're not an actual sleep clinic. So I told him, like, there's two that I can go to that I'm like, that are closer than the clinic, the sleep clinic where that I was actually talking to. Because the sleep clinic that I was originally talking to is like 3 hours away in the big city that I was living in before I moved here. Yeah. And I don't want to have to drive all the way out there. I'd have to drive past one of the cities that has a sleep clinic. So they're like, well, okay, you where you live, there's two. You have your choice. You can choose from one of two places. Which one would you prefer? And I'm like, well, I'll take this one, which is, I've lived there before. I know my way around enough. It shouldn't be too hard for me to find the place. Plus, I have an ex-boyfriend that has a business there, so like I could like visit him if I wanted to. And I've thought about it, about like borrowing the car and driving to his place like after he gets off work, and just hanging out with him and then just having him drive me. But then that's like he's using his gas to drive me there and then drive all the way back home, and it's like a half-hour drive from his place to the city because he doesn't actually live in the city. He lives in a town that's about a half-hour, 45-minute drive from the city. So, but yeah, my dad doesn't think that I need to get all of this stuff done, and it's like, well, okay, he's not a professional, he's not a doctor, he's not a specialist, he doesn't understand this stuff. I have issues with my sleep, and it's actually been getting worse, and I think the reason it's getting worse is because of my depression, because I am 100% alone. I'm not used to being 100% alone. The last time I was 100% alone, no other people, no animals, was when my daughter Wolfie was little. It was before she turned a year of age. I was renting a townhouse with another girl. Her and her son. Her son was like a month older. Yeah, he's about a month older than my daughter. And she actually stayed at her parents' place more than she actually stayed at our place. And I had gone and visited with my parents, my dad and stepmom, because at the time they were still together. And because of how far away we lived, I was okay with Wolfie staying with them for a bit and visiting, because they hadn't seen her in a while. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, that one just went flying. Darn it. I'm not really on screen now that much. There we go. That's better. Um, yeah, they, it was great for them because they got to visit with their granddaughter and spend time with her and whatnot. And me, well, I went home to an empty house, and I was on the couch. I pretty much lived on the couch, eating sandwiches, laying on the couch, reading books. I had a stack of books beside the couch, and basically the only time I left the couch was to go to the bathroom or to replenish my sandwiches, my stack of sandwiches. Yeah. I didn't leave the house. I didn't go anywhere. I just laid on the couch and read my books. When I was tired, I'd just set the book aside, go to sleep, wake up, go to the bathroom, eat, drink, whatever. But yeah, I did that for like 2 weeks. Nobody had seen me or heard from me for 2 weeks. And then they showed up at the house and they're like, "Oh my God, we thought you were dead." I was like, "No, I've been here." I had absolutely no interest in doing anything. No motivation to do anything. Yep. And yes, that includes showering or changing my clothes for 2 weeks. I didn't even think of any of that stuff, because I was completely by myself, all alone. And I think that's the reason why I've avoided this type of situation up until now. Since then I've always either lived with someone or had a pet. I'm trying to think if there's any other time that I was completely alone, living completely alone. And let's see. Well, when I moved out of my parents' place, it was when Wolfie was just a few months old. So then it was she and I. Yeah, and then yeah, and then there was that brief period of time when I was completely alone that I just described. And she, when I got her back from my parents, my boyfriend, Dancer is one of the names that he had. One of his nicknames was Dancer. He and I had a place together. And then, so then there was the three of us, and then I ended up getting a cat. Yeah, we ended up getting a kitten. Let me think. And then we ended up with more cats. And then we ended up moving out into the middle of nowhere. And yeah, and then from there moved from the middle of nowhere into a town. And it turns out it was actually not that far from from his brother. And Yeah, his brother is actually, I, I dated Dancer's brother in high school. So, yeah, and Dancer, it's, he got the name Dancer when he worked, for the carnival. Yeah, so it was his carny name was Dancer. So yeah, I dated his brother, who's actually a month older than me. No, he's a month younger than me. That's right. His birthday's in November. Yeah. But Dancer is like 3 or 4. I think he's 4 years older than me. Yeah, I think he's 4 years older than me. Yeah. But yeah, we ended up in a house, really nice 2-bedroom house, just up the street from his brother. And we had these cats. And then I sent him back to the carnival. I told him, go back to the carnival. They need you. I don't. Yeah. And so he went back to the carnival. His stuff went to his mom's place. And Wolfie and I and our cats went back. We moved back to my hometown into a 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah. And then some stuff happened, and she ended up in my parents' care. But I still had cats. I had a cat and a kitten. And then from there, moved from the apartment to a trailer. Still had a cat. And then Wolfie moved back in with me. I'm trying to think from there. Moved from that trailer to a double wide. Still had cats there. And then moved from the double wide into a little 2-bedroom cabin. Still had cats there. But when I moved from the single wide trailer to the double wide trailer, Wolfie wasn't living with me. But I moved in with my boyfriend, but still had the cats. And then when I moved from the double wide trailer into the little 2-bedroom cabin, I moved into the cabin by myself with my cats. He moved into an apartment. Because the ministry was like, well, as long as you're living with him, you can't have your child back. So I was like, okay, fine. I moved out and I moved into my own place. And she was allowed to come and visit, but wasn't allowed to sleep over. And then I moved from there into an apartment on top of a house. And had a cat. I was only allowed to have one cat while living there. Well, the landlord was an old grumpy Italian, and his ex-wife actually lived in the main part of the house, and she was fine with me having a couple of cats because she had a cat. But he was my landlord. He took but yeah, so I had to find homes for some of the cats that I had. Had to find homes for as many as I could. I had a lot. When I moved into that place, I had a lot. The apartment on top of the house was a 2-bedroom apartment, so Wolfie had her own room, and I had my room, and not long after moving into there, the ministry let her move back in. Yeah, the ministry gave her back to me. I've had lots of issues with the ministry here. For those of you who don't know what I'm referring to when I say the ministry, they're also known as DCFS, Child Protective Services. But here at the time, because periodically they changed the name of the business, sorry about that. They like to change the name, the title of the business, if you want to call it a business, to make them sound nicer, more friendly. So they've been known as the Ministry for Children and Family Development. Yeah. But they're basically a fancy way of a fancy title for the children and families. Yeah. So a lot of people, a lot of Canadians, or at least the ones around here that are having to deal with them, know them as the ministry. So yeah, they've always been a thorn in my side the whole time that I had kids, that I had my children in my care. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so anyways, let's see, where was I? Yeah, I had cats. Got her back at the beginning of when she started kindergarten. We lived there for 3.5 years, and then moved into a basement suite, like 6 months after she passed away, because she was, I keep forgetting it, I think she was 78 when she passed away. She was just, yeah, she was riddled with cancer. She was a really good friend of mine. Yeah, she and we were really good friends. I would take Wolfie to school in the morning, to kindergarten, drop her off, come home, and I would sit downstairs in the kitchen, and she'd make tea, and we'd sit there and we'd talk. She smoked like a chimney too. She had a rolling machine, and she'd have like 2 big cans of tobacco, and she'd sit there and she'd roll cigarettes in the rolling machine, and yeah, it didn't bother me to be around the cigarette smoke. At the time, I didn't smoke cigarettes. But yeah, I would sit there, and we would sit and talk and joke for hours. But yeah, I'd sit there in the mornings, and like once a month, I think it was, yeah, once a month, or it was either once a month or every 2 weeks. Yeah, it was every 2 weeks she'd go, and she'd go to the hairdressers every 2 weeks. 1 week it would be to get her hair washed. 2 weeks later it would be to get it cut. 2 weeks later, hair washed again. 2 weeks later, get it cut again, or something like that. I can't remember now, but because it's been, oh my goodness, it's been like 20 years. But yeah, she had been married, and she was married to an Italian. She wanted to have a big family because she herself had been an only child. So she wanted to have lots of kids and have a big family. And while she was married, had married into a big Italian family, unfortunately, she was only ever able to carry one child to term. So she ended up having a daughter. Her daughter grew up, got married, and had a son and a daughter. And then her daughter, while I was living there, her daughter ended up with stomach cancer. That was really hard. That was really hard on her. Yeah, her daughter passed away. And then 6 months later, she passed away from cancer as well. She had skin cancer. And yeah, she went from smoking probably like 2 packs of cigarettes a day to smoking nothing. She ended up in hospice and up at the hospital, and I would try and go and visit her, but I didn't have a vehicle of my own, and with the bus schedule and with Wolfie in school, it was hard to schedule going up to the hospital to visit her around the time of the schooling schedule and other things that I had to deal with at the time as well. But I managed to get up there and visit her once in a while. And I had been working on a lap blanket for her, like a little Afghan, and I finally managed to finish knitting that for her, and I gave it to her while she was up there in the hospital, and yeah, it was nice. She did have a cat. Her ex-husband, he took that cat out to a friend's farm. I told you guys, I told the story about what the incident around him taking the cat out to a friend's farm. It was a sad story. But anyways, after she passed away, her ex-husband, his name was still on the papers. The ownership, he still co-owned the house with her. So when she passed away, he ended up with 100% of the house. So then he turned around and put it up on the market to sell. But in the meantime, in her will, her grandkids got everything that was in the house. All of her stuff that she, yeah. And her grandkids were basically like, don't want it, get rid of it. They were still only teenagers at the time, so they weren't interested in any of the stuff. So they had a yard sale, and they sold as much stuff as they possibly could. Yeah, and yeah, and then her ex-husband, my landlord, he told me he and I had a verbal contract that I could take all the time I needed to find a new place to live because they were trying to sell the house. I'm like, yep, sure, not a problem. I wasn't in that big a rush to move because it was a really nice house. I really liked living there, but the stairs were a bitch. Because it was a bit of a steep flight of stairs to get up the stairs to the apartment on top of the house. Because it was an old, very old house. The house was just over 100 years old when I lived there. And it used to be all one house, but it had like massive vaulted ceiling. And what they did was they just basically built a second floor and made that into an apartment. Yeah. And but yeah, it was just a little oddly made house, but it was still a nice house to live in. And I spent a lot of time downstairs hanging out with her, and having tea and chatting and joking around, and like I'd spend most mornings there with her, and the afternoons, like I'd go and I'd pick Wolfie up from school and bring her back, and she and I, we'd sit downstairs and I'd have tea, and she'd pull out some cookies and have them on a little saucer for Wolfie. Oh, she adored having Wolfie there. She loved kids. Yeah. She loved kids, and Wolfie loved hanging out there and stuff, and yeah. So, yeah. But then we ended up, yeah, after she passed away, we moved into a basement suite, a 2-bedroom basement suite, and we still had a cat. We had my cat Brat, actually, and then I started dating the man who ended up becoming my husband, and he had 2 cats of his own, and he was living in a 2-bedroom apartment above his mom's apartment, like directly above his mom's apartment. Yeah. So then Wolfie and I, we eventually ended up moving into his apartment with him. And so then we had, and he went and he got rid of one of his cats. Because one of his cats, the first time Wolfie and I slept over at his place, Wolfie was sleeping in the guest room. Well, the second bed, yeah, I guess you could call it a guest room. And that was where the cats normally slept at night. And the one, I went and I tucked her into bed, and the one cat did not like her at all and attacked her. Like, we crawled into his bed, and all of a sudden she just started screaming, and I rushed out to see what was going on, and yeah, it turned out the cat had attacked her. And so we did find a good home for the cat. The cat actually went to the father, Dancer's father. Yeah. Because yeah, I was still friends with their dad. And but anyways, so yeah, I found a good home for the one cat, and the other cat got along great with my cat Brat, and Wolfie ended up, I can't remember if Wolfie had a cat before or after we moved in with him. I can't remember. Yeah, I really can't remember now. But anyways, oh wow, yeah, I actually had Brat for quite a few years. That's right. Brat had been given to me by a friend. This friend was moving and couldn't take Brat with him. So he asked me if I could take him and take her and find a new home for her. I'm like, yeah, sure, not a problem. Well, she was actually my favorite breed of cat, a tortoise shell. And well, I ended up keeping her. Yeah. So yeah, she became my cat. When I was living in the apartment on top of the really old house. And then yeah, so I still had her when my ex-husband and I got married. And then we were married for 4.5 years when I left him. It just wasn't working between him and I anymore. It just wasn't working. We were better off as friends. We had known each other since we were both little. His mom had been really good friends, a really good friend of my mom. And when we were really little, before my mom passed away, his mom would come over to visit my mom, and she'd bring him along because at the time she was a single mom. And so he'd be stuck having to play with us kids, with my sister and I. My sister and I more than my brother, because my brother was younger. But anyways, yeah, so I left, moved across Canada to Ontario, and I took all 3 kids, my cat and Wolfie's cat, because she had her own cat at that time as well. So yeah, we all moved to Ontario. We were there less than a month, and then he filed for custody of the 2 little ones, our 2 kids. So our son wasn't even a year old. Wait, no, he was. No, he wasn't. That's right. He wasn't even a year old. I didn't get to see him take his first steps. That's right. But still had the 2 cats. And then to fight for custody of my 2 little ones, to get them back from their father, Wolfie and I ended up moving back from Ontario back to BC, and we brought the 2 cats with us, and we stayed with my parents for a couple of weeks. We ended up getting an apartment. Yeah, so we had the 2 cats. We were allowed to have them in the apartment. The apartment building allowed cats. So yeah, we had the 2 cats there. And then we went from there to another double wide trailer. And when we moved into that trailer, we actually I'm trying to remember, but somehow we ended up with 4 cats at some point. I'm trying to remember how and when we ended up with 4. But anyways, we ended up with 4 of the fur balls. Because when we moved into the double wide, which was actually like 2 streets over from the first double wide trailer that we lived in. Yeah, the landlord was okay with me having cats, but he kept giving me a hard time about always keeping them inside. Well, I didn't want them going outside because a friend of mine had said that there was a lady in the neighborhood that had a tendency of poisoning the neighborhood cats. So I was reluctant in letting them out, but the landlord kept pestering me about it, so I finally said okay. So I let them out, and they came back with fleas. Yeah, sand fleas. And I still had Brat, and Brat, it turned out Brat was a I couldn't use any flea treatment on Brat. She was allergic to all of it. Every treatment that I tried, she had a bad reaction to it in one way or another. And she just started getting sicker and sicker, and I finally, I couldn't afford like all these expensive medical tests that she was gonna need. So, and I didn't want her to be suffering anymore, so I had her put to sleep. So, yeah. And then, let me think, from there, oh my goodness, I did a whole bunch of moving around after that. I lived in several different places, but without a pet. But I was renting places with other people. Let me think. Yeah, trying to remember, but I can't think of the next. Let me think here. Yeah, I moved from there, moved into my dad's basement for a bit. No, I moved from there into an apartment because I was dating this young guy. And when I say young, I mean this guy was young. He was 18, 19. He was 18. So he was only like 3 years older than Wolfie. Yeah, she was not too happy about that. Yeah. So, yeah, was dating this guy, and his dad was one of my teachers in high school. So, yeah, she was definitely not happy about that, because he was actually still in high school when he and I were dating. But he actually helped me get an apartment downtown. And it was a 2-bedroom apartment. And so I made arrangements with my ex-husband to be able to have the kids to well, when I was still living in the double wide, had made arrangements with him to have the kids overnight once in a while. And so yeah, I moved into this apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, and well, Wolfie was living at she was living at my dad's at the time, and I wasn't allowed any pets there, so I didn't have any pets there. But I had my boyfriend slept over a lot, and then I ended up with renting out the spare bedroom to a guy, and then from there, when I moved from there, I moved into I ended up renting two rooms in a guy's trailer that he owned. So no pets there, but I was living at his place, renting 2 rooms, one of which was a really small room that I just used for storage. And then from there, let me think. From there, oh my goodness, I'm trying to think here. goodness. From there, I went and moved. Oh, I moved back to my dad's. I put my stuff into storage and I moved to my dad's. And then I went across Canada to Prince Edward Island to PEI, and I spent a little bit of time there. And then I went back. I moved in with my this other guy, the new boyfriend, and then oh no, when I got back, he said I couldn't stay at his place because of the work, the renovations that he was getting done on the place. So yeah, so I ended up renting a room in a half duplex just down the street from my dad's place with 3 guys. 2 from Australia and 1 from Quebec. They were there for the winter, for the skiing, for the snow. So they were just lucky that they ended up renting a place with a local, with a vehicle, who had a vehicle. Yeah. I helped them with furnishing the place. They found the furniture and I drove them out to pick up the furniture and bring it back. I also I helped them with the internet and the electricity. Because I was a local, it was easier to just get the stuff hooked up in my name and just add one of them to the account. Because I actually didn't stay there for very long. I ended up breaking up with that guy and moved to Vancouver Island. Moved in with someone there. And then from there I ended up moving back to my hometown. And moved, patched things up with, what's his name, and yeah, moved into his place. But then he's like, within a week of me being there, he's like, yeah, you need to get a job. Okay, fine. So I went looking for a job, couldn't find a job. And then I moved to the town next door and moved in with, the man who is now currently my boyfriend. And, yeah, moved into his place. And so I was living with him and his cat. And then ended up living with, after that was living with, ended up moving out of there and moving in with, Wolfie's father. So, yeah. This is the first time in 27 years that I have lived fully 100% alone. And even before that, like, yeah, no, this is the first time, the second time in my entire life that I have actually lived fully 100% alone. And, yeah. Crazy. Very crazy. Never really sat down and actually had a good long think about it. Because I know my dad, a couple of times, he said, well, you've never really truly lived by yourself before. And it's like, well, yeah. Apparently that's because the last time I did absolutely nothing. Yeah. No motivation to do anything. No interest to do anything. except eat, sleep, and read books. And yeah, as soon as I'd finish one book, I'd set it down and start another book. So I had like, I'd either have 1 or 2 piles of books beside me. If I finished that one pile of books, I'd swap that stack out for another stack of books and just start all over again. And just read, and read. Yeah, so I know, sounds pretty sad, but also at that point in time I was not on antidepressants, so I had no interest, none at all, in anything. And if I didn't have my diamond paintings in my channel, I'd probably be doing the same thing, staying in bed and reading day and night. Although I have been reading a lot lately. I started reading that book, my Vampire System, because at one point I was reading along, and all of a sudden I got to this one point in the book, in the story, and it's almost like it froze. It wouldn't let me continue. It wouldn't let me go to the next page because I'm reading it online. It wouldn't let me bring up the table of contents or anything. It wouldn't let me do anything. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I stopped reading for a couple of weeks, and then finally a few days ago, not too long ago, more than just a few days ago, but yeah, a little while ago, I tried to find another way of reading, getting back into the book, and it turned out the reason it stopped, the story stopped, was because it was at the end of like part 6 of the book, the story, or something like that. Yeah, but I was able to pick it, I was able to get back into reading it on the same website, so it's like awesome. So yeah, I've been back to reading that. So I know I've got a lengthy watch later list of YouTube videos of channels that I follow. I got to the point where I was almost a week behind, and then I've just been plowing through the videos, watching them at like 1.25 times the speed or 1.5 times the speed. I've gotten so used to hearing certain YouTubers at that speed, and then I go and I watch one of their videos at the regular speed, and it's like, oh my god, they're so slow. It's so weird. I'm so used to them going yeah. But I finally got caught up and saw the final Pink and Black event videos of both Mushy and Kristen's. Watched Mushy's first and then Kristen's, so I knew the diamond painting police had picked her up, had arrested Kristen, but oh my god. Yeah. It was just so cute, the diamond painting police. Yeah. But I have to admit, it was lots of fun participating in that event. They put a lot of work into it, and it was very sad to learn about Jennifer Bergman. Yeah, it was sad to hear about her passing away. Yeah. Was watching videos, watching some YouTube videos of a YouTuber that passed away just before Christmas, I think. I can't remember now. I think it was just before or just after Christmas. He was a part of LawTube. His name was Jeff. His channel was Legal Vices, and he had lived in Korea for, I think, 26 years. I think that's what they said. But yeah, his funeral was happened recently, and his son has started his own YouTube channel now. His very first live stream, he had over 1,000 subscribers for his very first live stream on Saturday, which was awesome. Yeah, the friends of his father's, they're like, well, why don't you just take over your dad's channel? He's got over 100,000 subscribers. He's like, nah. I'm gonna do it on my own. From scratch. Well, not necessarily on his own, because he had over 100. Well, he achieved 100,000 subscribers after his passing. Other YouTubers, they had like a little bit of a marathon, live stream marathon, encouraging people to go and subscribe to his channel and get him up to 100,000 subs, so that his family could get the 100K plaque from YouTube. And yeah, and he got it. They helped him get 100K subscribers. And yeah, he was quite the YouTuber. Yeah, it's just, oh my goodness. And here we were all thinking that 2025 was going to be better. We were going to make 2025 better than 2024 was. And within the first month, we had an awesome diamond painting event, thanks to Mushy and Kristen. But we did lose one of our own. And then there was the fire. There's all the fires in California. And then the people that were lost between the I think it was American Airlines and the Black Hawk helicopter last week. Yeah, Wednesday of last week. And then on last Friday was the plane, the medical jet in Philadelphia. In Pennsylvania. Yeah, I was actually just watching that. A live stream about that earlier this morning. Yeah. It's just, yeah. It's like, come on, haven't we been through enough already? Like, come on. It's just bloody ridiculous. And then, and our dear sweet sister Lorna, one of our train wreck sisters, Lorna, she's got the C virus again. That really sucks. She had that just before Christmas. And now she's got it again. Yeah, that really sucks. And then there's me having to put my poor kitty cat Peaches down. It's like, come on. We need some more good things. More good things. I know Eileen, Diamond Crafts by Eileen, I think her channel is called. She's doing that Tarot in Time event. I think that's what it's called. I know it's a tarot card event because Jill is participating in that. I can't remember who else is participating in it, but I know Jill is because she's doing some really cute tarot cards in her live streams, and I know she's got hers is coming up in a little bit here. I know this video is going a little bit extra long, but yeah, I don't know how often I'm going to be recording videos. I have, like I said, I've got the sleep clinic on Thursday night, Friday morning. So, I don't know when I'm going to do another video. I might do a whole bunch in one day and then just release one each day for a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this color and then just call it done for the video, because yeah, I've been going for how long? Oh, just over an hour. So it hasn't actually been that long of a video. So yeah, I've been reading that book, that story, My Werewolf System, and I know they've done some like cartoons. I've seen little video clips of like they've done like animated like a cartoon of it, and I've seen some live action stuff for the story, and I don't know what language it was translated from, but all I know is the translation sucks. I'd actually love to sit down and rewrite the entire thing. Oh, every so often it's like, oh, that's what I want to do, is just rewrite the entire thing. But you know how long it would freaking take? Considering I'm on chapter 1600 and something. I'm almost at chapter 1700. Yeah. It's crazy, I know. Oh my goodness. I hope my little hand vacuum finishes charging soon. And I can get rid of the rest of the dust around the base of that space heater. It is warming up a little bit in here. The temperature on my lamp here says 20, but I think it's misleading because of the heat from the light from the lamp. Yeah, that's just what I think. Yeah, because my digital clock says 14 degrees Celsius. And my lamp says 20. So I'm not too thrilled about that. But thankfully I get paid in 2 weeks. Yay, I get paid in 2 weeks. Can get another tank of propane. Yay, another tank of propane. And I'm thinking I might order some stuff off of Temu. And use Afterpay. I'll have to see how much credit I can use with Afterpay. And yeah. So no diamond paintings though, because I'm pretty filled up with, well, pretty busy with diamond paintings right now, because I've got the 7 kitted up. I'm working on 6, rotating between the 6. Yeah, when I'm done one of the rounds, then I'll kit it down, and hopefully I'll have enough empty bottles to be able to kit up one of my scary canvases, of which I've got the 4. Well, I've got 3 scaries and one I think of as psychedelic. I think of it as psychedelic because it's got the eye in the forehead. Yeah. So there is that. Yeah, but I'll be working. Actually, I think the next one that when I finish, the first round that I finish, I'll kit it down, but I'll start working on the sunflowers canvas. Yeah, whichever one I finish will be replaced by the sunflower canvas. That's kitted up, but I haven't started it yet. That way I know I'll have enough bottles for the next canvas that I kit up. After that, yeah. If I finish my grotesque cookie, when I finish my grotesque Cookie Monster, I will kit it down and kit up that carnival one. That way I've always got at least one square on the go, and it's a massive square, and I've got several rounds. And that way it should get me through until my friend PETA is able to send me another package at the end of March. Yeah. Because then, once she does that, then I'll have some more to work on. Yay! But I also have my cross stitch kits. Once I'm done my pink tree, I'm gonna work on those, my cats. A little bit here, a little bit there. But I want to get some larger cross stitch kits. So yeah, my next order from Temu, I'm gonna get a couple more cross stitch kits, and because they're cheaper than the diamond paintings, and I find I'm in the mood to cross stitch more than diamond paint at times. And I have been doing some more. I have been working on my curtain, doing my crocheting. Been doing that, getting some of that done. Yeah. So, and I am keeping an eye on the time because I don't want to miss Jill's live stream. I've still got 20 minutes. Yay! So, yeah. And it's trying to snow outside again. Yep. So now I know that like Grotesque Cookie Monster has a lot of colors, a lot of colors. So when I'm done that, I know the carousel one does not have as many colors. So I'm not worried about not having enough containers between the two. So I am excited about starting that one. Yeah, I am. And I will only be single placing. And I'm also, oh yeah, and I got PETA gave me her email address, so I was able to give that to the Canada Post for the investigation into where did that package disappear to. So, because the package was insured for $100, so I put in a claims ticket so that I can get that $100 back. Since the package never actually arrived at its destination. And unless the package actually does show up, yeah, which would be really nice. It would be super nice, because there's like 3 of the items in there were gifts. So it would be nice for the package to actually, I would actually prefer it if the package showed up rather than receive the money, because of all of the hard work that I put into doing those diamond paintings for her. Yeah. If they show up, if the package shows up, that's awesome. If the package never shows up, hopefully we'll be able to get another copy of that canvas for the vet. Not too sure because it is discontinued. Last time I checked, it was still discontinued. But yeah, she might find something else instead. But we'll see. In the meantime, there's not much that either of us can do. She put in a claim, I put in a claim, and that's all. Now we just sit back and wait. And while we're waiting, she's ordering other stuff, and I'm working on these. And all right, now this is the last color for this section. When I'm done this color, then I'm done this section, and then I'll just, yeah, that'll be it for this video. Because I'm gonna take a break from working on this for a little bit, and try and get a few things done around here, but probably not. I'll probably end up going and laying down. Yeah, until my dad calls. Yeah. Hopefully he calls, because he said he was going to call so that I can go and get laundry done today. If not today, then tomorrow. Anywho, Partials are a little trickier to roll, I find, a little bit. But Mr. Cock-a-doodle-doo, this rooster is coming along nicely. There we go. Yeah. And this canvas does have 2 ABs. Yeah, this is a diamond dots partial with 2 ABs. And the ABs are in the flowers. It's yellow in the flowers. There's some of the ABs, and then in some of the green. Yeah. So this is all ABs here and here. This lighter green is the ABs. Yeah, and some of the yellow in the flowers are ABs as well. Alrighty, so it's coming along nicely. Yes, it is. I'm about halfway. Yeah, I'm about halfway. So yeah, this is a 51 by 41 centimeters. And yeah, it's looking nice. Okay, I'm gonna go. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.